help at the level of promise. Oh, I know I carry this promise that God is going to do this. Oh, fantastic. But the real place where you are strong to be of help is at the level where you are already having the fulfillment of those promises. Okay? So, which means that many of the paths you will take to now be of help will be a lonely. Let's look at the case of Joseph and his brothers. Okay? They sold him for a price into slavery. But Joseph could not be of help to his brothers in the prison. A Joseph in the prison cannot rescue the family. It will take a Joseph who is the prime minister. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can't help at the level of promise. You are of help at the level of fulfillment. Do you understand that? You can't be of help at the level of promise. Oh, I know I carry this promise that God is going to do this. Oh, fantastic. But the real place where you are strong to be of help is at the level where you are already having the fulfillment of those promises. Okay? So, which means that many of the paths you will take to now be of help will be a lonely path where those you are to help will fight you. In most cases, I've found out the one that God will use to liberate that family completely, the greatest battle he will face will come from that family. Because the demon that is holding that lineage bound will confuse everybody that this person is bad. And that's why you can't function by emotions. You must learn to function by conviction. We can't do the things we are doing except we are convinced. Conviction that even when what you are doing doesn't make any sense to anybody, you stand your ground. This is it. It doesn't make any sense. This is it. God has called you to ministry. Everything is down. You do everything every time. There's no finance. You have to struggle. You have to be a person of conviction to get from promise to fulfillment. You have to be a person of conviction. And let me say this to you, part of your time being borrowed is that sometimes there is a pattern of poverty in the house, but the part of your destiny imagine is going to take you back to the route of poverty. That is, you have gotten a job where it looks like this salary now will now be good for you and the family, and God says shut down the job and go to ministry. Now from where there was salary to where there is uncertainty, and this is where God will lift you. If your time is bought or borrowed, you can never go that path. Sometimes the things that you are about to destroy, you have to go back to that route. That's the fact. Nobody has reason here. Everybody's down. This. God said, now I'm calling you. Now you are going to be a minister of the gospel that will take my name to all nations of the earth. And you have a degree. You did well. You are smart. You are intelligent. Everybody rise. We are paying school fees. You think you can do this? Never. You are going. And you look at it and say, my God, what part is this? Just when I thought now I'm going to be a son of consolation, and God said, not that fast. Not that fast. If you are not a person of conviction, that is how you will never become. That people will fight you and rise. So what do you think you want to do? You call you names, you are lazy. Many young people are not accepting their God-given calling because of this same factor. Where those you consider poor, you now even need to wear their suit to do the ministry. How many of you have convictions enough to walk lonely path and stand? So we have been doing this from the days that can't even afford to buy one donut. I know I will sit in meetings and they'll be asking everybody, what do you do for a living? And I'll say, I'm in ministry. Everybody look at you with disdain. Like a young person should not be in ministry alone. And that was the instruction. Can God give that instruction? Yes. But the balance is that we must see the pattern of discipline and the pattern of diligence. Without diligence, your vision is a wish. There must be that pattern. So that you don't bobo anybody with the fact that I have a calling, but we are not seeing labor that is correspond to that calling. Is that okay now? And it is those that endure to the end that shall be saved. Is that okay now? Never you sacrifice your God-given calling because you want to salvage a pattern you didn't create. Don't be disobedient to your heavenly calling, to God's calling over your life. Don't. Okay? Don't. That's the truth. Some of you are coming from places where things are this, things are that, and God said that. So, wait, let me leave these things. Are you following what I'm teaching? Because these things we are dealing with are serious matters. They are anti-religion. Because once you carry it on your head that I'm running this race because I must emancipate some people, I must set them free, everybody must eat in the family, you are going to get into prostitution. You will. It's just a matter of time. You will. And if you're a guy, you get into Yahoo. It's just a matter of time. You will steal, sir. You will. You will. You can't do anything. You can't see. Listen, this is what the Bible says. All right. That except the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain that builds it. Except the Lord watches over the city, they wake but in vain. You can't use your strategy to bail out. You must hear what God is saying. And it is submitting to a hit that is the best strategy. And what he might be saying sometimes does not make any sense. It doesn't. Permit me to give an illustration. Those of you who know knows, but permit me to give that illustration. I'm going to quote it, don't worry. Okay? Do you permit me? Okay, thank you. We're having a conversation. I'm not going to look up. I was asking, what do you want to do? So I said, I want to do this. I said, if you go that path, it will work, but your relationship will break. And we will not beg it not to break. Because as you go the path of purpose, there are losses that are necessary. If you are going to become a transgenerational blessing, there are scars. There are scars. That's the truth. There are scars. When you look at some of us stand before you today, there are invisible scars and tears and pain. And we know many more will still come. And every day we lift our soul to God and say, Father, make me ready. I know pain will come. That is the truth. To not know it is to deceive yourself. I know betrayal will come. That is the truth. I know there will be days you will sit down and cry. That is the truth. It is the reality of what we have received. Ministry is military. And I look forward to it sometimes with fear in my heart. And I say, God, if it's your wish, let this cup pass. But nonetheless, let your will be done. Those do ministry and say, your boy, forget about that. You'll be manipulative. I don't know if these things I'm telling you is too much a strong method. I'm just telling you the fact. You follow what I'm saying? You don't like all these things. Okay? God is rooting out the pattern of dysfunctionality in families. Get what I'm saying? He's rooting out those patterns, but he's going to use sons that he has to himself. And when I say son, it's generic now, male, female, who have accepted formulas and strategies from him. The pressure is not giving you a lifestyle or a direction. Do you understand what I'm saying? The pressure can give you a route that God is not behind and God is not sanctioning. Any of these things I'm teaching, I've wept before coming out because they are real. Okay? So you must understand this. Now, to what end? When Jesus was born, one of the prophecies Simeon in the temple gave the mother, he said, this boy is raised for the deliverance, for the rising and the falling of many. And he looked at Mary and he said, a sword will pass through your heart. That is, you will know pain that a mother should not know. And that pain did happen. And one day she stood and saw Jesus, her son, hanging on the cross. And Jesus referred to John. He said, son, look at your mother. Mother, look at your son. You would almost think Jesus is heartless. But the one who will be a transgenerational blessing cannot be robed in those things. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Some of you who are following us, they are fighting you at home. Look at the person you are following. This. But that is destiny. By the time you start flying to 20 countries now, everybody will now come back and celebrate you. But if the pressure take you out, others will take your place. Pastor Chris Yakilome was sharing the story of the time the people that are now leaders were following him in the days they were on campus. They will call them fools, and mother will beat some of them and say, look at the person you are following. But now these are people in charge of nations. The people now, what I'm saying is that sometimes the pattern of problem is too much for them to understand what God will use to deliver the family. The one that God has set on that path must hold the line and remain there with conviction. Never let it be said that you out of pressure left that path, because those who make you leave will be the first to insult you for leaving. There's no name. Some of us have not been called for doing ministry, but it's making sense gradually. There's no name, sir. From friends who think you must be stupid. One time I cried because my friend was earning 30,000. You won't believe it. God, me, I'm not a lazy person. Just give me a month. Let me show these people who are thinking I'm lazy that I know how to make money. And I am a smart person. I know how to make money. So some of you will think it's pride now to know that you are smart. That's how far religion has eaten us like cankerworm. That part, sir, that part, hold it. You have found a good part. Hold it. What is likely going to take you out is the fact that somebody wants to borrow your time. And that time does not mean that you will have to go back home to work there, or you can do it by proxy. Sometimes leaving Nigeria, please, apologies to anybody who has traveled or who is traveling. I'm not, please get my heart, okay? Sometimes leaving Nigeria for, give me a country, Australia, is a way of still spending borrowed time, because particularly when you have to leave your purpose, to travel so you can pay black tax is by proxy.